I seen this cartoon. It always made me think. It shows a picture of a world, the modern world. There's cars going around. There's skyscrapers, but in the center there's like an island with trees and animals and us. But the whole surrounding is a modern world, and we're left here. We're left here to, take care of this last bit of land and take care of the animals when everybody else forgot.
Being a New Yorker all my life, Hickory Edwards from Onondaga Nation, his vision looked just like my present. I'm just like any other city dweller. You spend a lot of time underground, thinking about paying the bills, paying the rent, thinking about different kind of trees. I traveled up to Onondaga Nation to see what Hickory was talking about.
Yeah, I think originally when we were forced onto reservations, so where we live now, they put us on land that was considered undesirable. And so now that they've used all these resources on non-reservation land, they're trying to come into the reservations to get what resources we have. So it's kind of ironic, I guess you could say, that now they're looking for what little resources that are left.
We have the Row Wampum campaign that's out, and it's for our non-native neighbors over here next to us have formed a group, a coalition that is trying to help us fight for our native rights. And our treaty laws say that we're a separate governance than that of the United States, than that of New York State. And we've tried to say this throughout history, but it hasn't gone mainstream until now. This is why we need to use each other as helpers.
In 2009, the Haudenosaunee Environmental Task Force issued a statement which called on New York State to ban the permitting of high-volume hydraulic fracturing, at the same time warning allies about the risks of the industry. This encouraged allies to live up to our agreement to protect shared resources, and since then, New Yorkers Against Fracking was formed, now consisting of over 250 grassroots organizations.
There are many faces to this anti-fracking movement. They all respond to the same call. They see the world as a living thing to protect, Mother Earth.
Mi'kmaq Territories in so-called Rexton, New Brunswick, October 2013. For over 2 weeks now, a coalition of people, including local Mi'kmaq residents and Anglophone and Acadian settlers, have blockaded the road leading to an equipment compound leased to Southwestern Energy, or SWN. But since this past summer, protests, direct actions, and sabotage have thwarted their work and have turned public opinion on the side of the protesters.
These blockades can go on for months and months in Canada. On October 17th, 2013, things turned into chaos. A legal injunction allowed the Royal Canadian Mounted Police to move in with attack dogs, snipers, and rubber bullets. Over 800 police dismantled the peaceful anti-fracking blockade. Over 40 protesters were arrested, including the chief. The police vehicles were set on fire, and no one is sure who did it. This police violence may scare away some people for good, but the anti-fracking blockades continue. Keep an eye on Canada.
Our neighbors, if once we get them to understand, and we have, the importance of our treaty rights, then we move a step forward and get them to understand, and then we can go together as a group to help this consciousness grow. In New Brunswick right now, it doesn't look like that. There's a lot of conflict.
The source of this conflict is hydro-fracking, which means drilling into the ground for shale gas deposits, cracking up the rocks underneath, and injecting chemicals to loosen up the gas. Then suck it back up, leaving behind dangerous chemicals. The gas companies won't identify what they are. I really don't have time to pronounce them all, but the results need no words. I see the YouTube videos all the time. A problem far away. What does this have to do with me? Stuck in the city? I drink bottled water all the time anyway. But I went up to near Syracuse, upstate, to meet up with some cool people, organizers, to find out some of the deep reasons for the anti-fracking movement in New York State. It's the closest I've got to getting the opinions of the forest, the grass, the water of Mother Earth.
Well, actually, when I started, I was driving down the Route 11A on the Onondaga Nation, and I seen the sign, and it said frack through it, and it had a line through it. So I really wanted to figure out what that meant. Well, I'm actually Mohawk Nation from Akwesasne, and Gahalukwas is my given name, which is actually, it means she who hangs clothes on the line. And that was actually my great-grandmother's name.
My name's Hickory Edwards. My Ungwehue name is Hennick. It means hickory tree. Usually people have names that have been passed down over, over the generations. But mine was a new name, so it was made just for me.
Edwards. So, working on the dugout canoe.
I've only been paddling for 5 years now, and in 5 years I've brought so many people out on the water. I clean up this. I try to keep this as clean as I can. You can see I'm not doing too bad of a job, but it floods in springtime. I go out into the woods and with my canoes and kayaks and pick up all the garbage that's floating around in there. Paddling's important to me too. This is our land. This land is our mother, and the water is her veins.
We do the best that we can in educating other people about our perspectives, and then things like the issue of hydro-fracking. But it comes down to those people making that decision to stand by us or stand against us.
Yeah, and we're not the type of people that say you have to think this way. We don't do that. That's just not how we live it. We live in a very unselfish kind of way. We don't try to assimilate others into being like us. It's never been that. If you look at the history books, we've never said, oh, you have to be like us. We never try to assimilate other people. But it's interesting that we're always assimilated.
Being that this was our land to begin with, it needs to be the responsibility of it in order for anybody else to understand how it needs to be treated and how she needs to be taken care of. Simple thing is to give us the land back. Not so much in the court's eyes, but just let us teach. Let us teach you how to take care of it. Let us teach you how to respect it for those of us that don't know how.
Broadcasting from Syracuse, which recently became the third city in New York State to ban the natural gas drilling process known as hydraulic fracturing or fracking.
The fact that the Northeast of America has over a quarter of the world's potable water and the responsibility that goes with that kind of a resource, life-giving resource, and safeguarding that, I think, is fundamental to future life.
A white pine tree signifies Onondaga Nation, capital of the league and home to the Central Council Fire, Haudenosaunee 6 Nations. From this tree, 4 white roots sprouted, carrying the message of unity and peace to the 4 directions. Other nations are welcomed to travel to take shelter beneath the great tree of peace and join the Iroquois Confederacy. Onondaga Nation have their own language, own schools, their own government, chiefs, and clan mothers.
I'm Wotawinine. I'm Onondaga. I'm from Onondaga Nation. I'm Turtle Clan, and I'm a Turtle Clan mother. And I'm very concerned about the hydro-fracking threat to New York State. It's unfortunate that people just don't understand just how much pollution has already happened. Putting aside our respect for nature and for all that's around us, for all those parts of creation, just for money and just for comfort, it is not the thing to do. By doing that, we put aside our future. The people who are coming, in the future, all the animals, all that's part of creation, we were just putting that aside and not thinking of it. And we need to. We are fortunate that the earth works as it does, and that all the parts of creation are continuing to do as they were given in their tasks. And as humans, all we can do is be thankful, because we don't do anything that this earth can't live without. So our duty is to be thankful, and we need to respect what is here. So I ask that, yes, we put a ban on fracking, hydro-fracking, and that we keep it away from this area. And I'm sorry that it has not been stopped in other areas, and it needs to be banned completely so that there is a future for everyone.
Mannahatta, which means Island of Many Hills. Where I was born, Wikiwaki, meaning place of our own people. In the city, there's a trash can on every corner. It's easy to throw away and forget. But don't forget, we only have one Earth. So far, over 250 communities in the United States have banned fracking, over 65 in New York State alone. But this could be a much bigger story than New York. This is a global movement, a clash of belief systems, who owns the land and why, a struggle that has been going on for a long time with a new beginning.